Ok, buenos días, buenas tardes. Estamos felices ahí que estemos todos de regreso y que nos pueden acompañar para este primer concierto de esta serie y sobre todo con esta Masterclass con el Quartet de Etienne Charles que vamos a tener aquí y obviamente me imagino que muchos de ustedes estarán en la noche y tenemos un ensamble que nos va a hacer el favor de pasar, por favor. Que son los que van a pasar la silla eléctrica y a ver cómo les va. En el piano tenemos a Pablo Castro en el piano, Néstor Pérez, Pablo Flores en el bajo y Erubiel Rangel en la batería. Así que arrancamos y el escenario es suyo.
Check 1, 2. All right. Hi everyone. Thank you for playing. So yeah, the first tune, Ugetsu, correct? It started to feel. I mean, the challenge was we couldn't really hear the bass for most of the first part of the tune. So as a result, we couldn't really feel where the swing was. So I would say, yeah, just make sure you can hear each other, make sure we can hear you. Other than that, I would say that there were times when, I mean, I could go instrument by instrument, and then I'll go group by group for group stuff. And then I know everyone has different pieces of input, and of course you can ask any questions you want. So with the first tune, I would say it started to feel good, but sometimes you get ahead of yourself on your lines. What's your name on guitar? On guitar, do they speak English? ¿Hablan inglés o solamente español?
Yeah, but it's really hard to understand.
Oh, you can? Okay, okay, so. All right, so what I was saying is sometimes you get a little ahead of yourself on your lines. And so your time starts pushing ahead. So just one thing that I really try to do is always lock in to the right cymbal. Do you play any drums at all?
No.
I would say a good thing to do would be to learn to play, like have the drummer show you how to play the right cymbal pattern. Because it will just get you more conscious of where the time always is. One thing that a lot of musicians get tied up with is there's somehow this inner conflict between playing your time and playing the time. And so you always want to play the time as opposed to your time. And so it's something that we all struggle with because we practice with metronome, etc. But it's just something to lock into. That's one of my main comments. The next comment we'll get to, I think you could dig in a little more on the bass. I think you could dig in to get a little more hump, just because it will make the music bounce a little bit more. And I was gonna say one more thing about Getsu. Practice it slow as a group. And I would say that because there was some time, what's your name? Drum? Erubiel. I can't hear you with masks on. Edward. Edu, perfect. So, there are a lot of times when you're playing and the bass is here and you're looking over here. And so you're looking away from what's happening. And it's almost like you're having dinner with someone and your back is to them, right? So what happens is you might be hearing what they're saying, but you're not fully into the conversation. So I would say, and it also helps the swing, because I would say if you can look at the bass player's right finger and make sure that every time your stick hits the cymbal is exactly when he's hitting the bass, he's plucking the bass. It will line up the time. Actually, let's try that. So do me a favor, I just want you to walk quarter notes, like just maybe walk to just one note, like D or something. Just like right here, just quarter notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're looking at the cymbal and you're looking at the stick, at the finger. So now that's a good sound you're getting on the bass. That should be the sound for every note that you play, right? Right, B? Like the way you pluck it now, that's the sound that you should have for every quarter note. Like nice and long, nice and full, it's punchy, right? So now just put a little emphasis on 2 and 4. But play through the cymbal, like you play on top of the cymbal, play through it. So now you can add the syncopation of so now you can spine line. You see, you added the spine line where it started swinging less. on, keep going, keep going. So, one second. So I would say that you got too much going on. Like the sound should come from your finger. So like the way your wrist is moving, it's moving too much, right?
It's a couple things.
Right?
It's a couple, yeah, a little bit.
And it's affecting the way the swing can work.
I wasn't trying to talk that.
No, it's good. No, go ahead.
I think it's a couple things you have to think about. You have to think about all 4 beats, and think a lot about 1 and 3.
Yep.
You understand what I mean? Because a lot of what we have to do as drummers is playing the 2 and 4 and the hi-hat and the accent in there. But the foundation of it is really 1 and 3. So, like one thing I wanted to tell you while you were playing that, I had noticed you may want to start dealing a little bit more with feathering, playing quarter notes. Because with the bass drum, because what happens is when that's a lot more locked in, one, it makes everything fatter, it makes everything bigger. You don't want to sound too light, so for a starter, it makes it a lot more round and fatter. And then also, what happens is the bass drum and the bass now have more of a connection dealing with all 4 of the beats versus just dealing with 2 and 4. So like, so let's say do the same thing. Like for me, I'm a person that likes to play more quarter notes versus playing just a span lay. I think it swings harder for me personally, but regardless of what, it's all about like finding the fullness of each beat. I think that's the most important thing. So do that same thing you were doing in D. 1, 2, 10. So my bass drum is never, you see how it's not stopping? And it's always going? So let's say if I want to, right? More So, but I don't know if you see how even that caused, you had to play even a lot more, I won't say louder, but a lot more present. So it affects everyone. And then especially, that's the rhythm section, that's the most important thing. The most important thing. And the other thing I wanted to say, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
But just because you play soft doesn't mean you don't have to play intense. If that makes any sense? So, just because, let's say you guys are playing I don't know, so let's say a blues, all right? Let's say you that's not loud, but it's present. Does that make sense? Like it's a lot of conviction, and it's very aggressive.
I got a question for you. When you practice rudiments, do you use a metronome? Do you use headphones? Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to stop using headphones, right? So stop using, and then how many people that play drums? All right, so this is a technique that I learned from my dear friend Roberto, right? When you're practicing rudiments, use a metronome that it has its own little speakers and sound, so that you're always listening to a beat instead of having to be pounding into your ear. And what that does is that forces you to get your rudiments together with more control, so that you are able to play with a big sound at a low volume.
Oh, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I want to say this too. And this is something I've been talking with all my friends, for all the drummers. This is something that's very underrated. You have to breathe. You have to breathe. Like, the more you tense your body, the thinner the sound gets. So you want to always make sure, even if, I don't know, Yeah, you guys all sound good. Of course, we got stuff we got to work on, but you guys do sound good. You guys have good initial sound. But if you notice our body towards the drums, and you do that also, it's not more so of like you're coming off the drum. So when you come off the drum like that, the less body motion you got going on that thing. That's right. You know, yeah. So that's it. It's like you don't really have to move much to be able to get a good sound, and also you want to worry about. I know I'm doing a lot of stuff at once. I'm sorry. It's just he's a drummer, so. Well, I promise we'll get to the rest of y'all, but you want to just make sure that like you're breathing everything. You don't want to just breathe through some of the stuff. That way your sound will be a lot more free and open. And also, like he was saying, understanding like where the beats are and having the time internally. That way you could, do what you do. So that makes, I know that was a lot really quick. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay. Sure.
All right. All right. Yes. Once again, it sounds wonderful. You guys sound like you play together often, correct?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. One thing I noticed was the connection between. I like the lockup between you two, bass and drums. It can always get deeper. You know, like there's always levels to these things, but this is like a good start to like on your spare time work on that some more. Some general things. For you, you were kind of like, turn for the audience like this. Like these people paid to come see you play. And I'm sure they love to see your beautiful face and this nice instrument. So you should, if you feel like you want to be more connected with the band, don't fall. But yeah, step back into like this little area. I know there's a monitor here, but you could, that way everyone has a good line of sight. You can see each other, and then you can feel like you're in the band. I would actually be tighter, but that's something we're gonna do at sound check properly. But normally you would be closer. Never turn your back to the audience. I know Miles did, but we're not all Miles Davis, right? Yeah. Oh, the left hand of the piano, left hand of the snare drum. There were moments where I thought you were connected, but I thought there could be a lot more connection between. So a good exercise is don't play anything unless it's like a response to something he's doing. Like try that out for a second. We can do it over at Blues real quick. Do the lock-in thing with him. You play the melody, just play out and play melody like So, you guys as a comping is extremely hard. Accompaniment is extremely hard, right? So he's gonna solo, and I want you guys, or you're gonna play the head. I don't know. Do you know like Blues by Five or something like that? Like Boo Baby. I don't know. Play a blues head, right? And I want you guys to comp in the cracks of the head. Play like it's a balance between playing nothing, playing the exact same thing, and playing something completely different. And the fun of this music is you have to know when the appropriate time to do one of those three things is, right? Sometimes you play the exact same thing. Sometimes you play nothing. So yeah, you can just swing. When in doubt, swing out. You can always swing. So let's just try just a quick blues, and I want you guys to really focus in on your left hand rhythms, interacting and locking up and having more of a conversation. So try it again and don't play that much. Literally don't play unless like it's in a space that the guitar player is leaving. So what that means for you is you have to leave more space. No, I'm saying we're gonna solo. We're gonna solo. So leave more space. You know what I mean? Leave holes, as we call them. Like leave little holes for them. All right, let's try it again.
I'm sorry. That's the other thing about music. We gotta chill, like, and relax, and like you really have to. That's why I say breathing is so important. Like, and that's for everyone. Like, this music is meant to be danced to. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to make you move. So when you're straight like that, it's kind of hard for anybody else to swing. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, relax, bro. It's not like you can't play. You can play, and you can do the things. So breathe. Go.
I got one question for drums. Do y'all know the melody to this tune? Like, can you sing the melody? All right. So that's one way to immediately up your confidence skills on a melody. Because if you can sing it while playing it, you know when the spaces are. And then you immediately, so like for me, I was like, so immediately, that's almost like standard confident for the melody to this tune.
Singing.
You know what I'm saying? So like a great exercise, every instrumentalist is to practice singing and playing it, especially if it's not a horn. Just to practice singing and playing the chord changes or playing the groove to the melody, like singing at the same time. And when you're listening to records, a great thing to practice is you sing along with the solos while you're comping. So like a great example is being able to sing Miles Davis' solo on So What or Freddie Freeloader while walking. That way, what you're learning just by doing that is you're actually learning what the musician you're transcribing was reacting to. So you understand what caused the reaction. So understand, so that you understand why Paul Chambers started walking down versus walking up. So but let's try this, is that Billy's Bounce? Let's try Billy's Bounce one more time. And so less is more in this instance. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Don't get scared, you gotta play.
everyone. Greetings, everyone. A lot was said, so I know everybody focused mostly on YouTube, but I guess my words are kind of like for you all and everyone. I think the number one thing to keep in mind for specifically for these kind of settings, and this applies to all of you, whenever you're doing something like this, like playing for someone, auditioning, choose a tune that you all really know, and don't go for like, this is one of the biggest misconceptions of this music, is the notion of being hit, right? Cool, you can be hit, shoot, but I think that personally, I would have preferred hearing you all on all the things you are. What's the tune that everybody do, like dee, 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 like something like that you all really know. Because I think what this creates is like, I feel like all the things that all these amazing artists said might not necessarily have been fair if we heard you guys on a tune that you're more comfortable with. So I feel personally, because when I heard you on the blues, it sounds different from what I heard you all play. Because a lot of the notes that I took, I'm like, oh, they can do it. Oh, he's comping now. Oh, he's, so I think, especially like in these clinic settings, because this is what this is, if you ever have to do it again, go for the simple, something you all know, like a blues. That way you're not misdiagnosed, because that's what we're supposed to be like, hey, loosen up, hey, blah, blah, blah. Hey. Like your bass notes are stronger on the blues. Your harmonic sense are stronger on the blues than it was on the two tunes I heard, and for all of you, I feel like Ugetsu kind of hung you guys up a lot. The other tune, it's a hard tune. So number one thing I would always suggest, even for your audience, because to me, my thing is always about the misconception of this music. This music always loses fan base. People get bored or they're like, oh, we don't understand what's going on because we choose things we're not comfortable with. Personal story, I remember auditioning when I attended Berkeley many years ago. And when I got to the school, they do a rating system. And everyone's like, oh, I'm going to play giant steps, I'm going to play blah, blah, blah. You know what tunes I played? Sonny Rollins, St. Thomas. And that got me the top rating at that school. But because I know that tune inside out and I can really communicate that tune. So number one thing to keep in mind, because these guys will take care of the harmony, but me, I'm interested in the aesthetic. And I would say that that's number one thing to keep in mind, even for your own personal gigs. Always choose tunes that mean something to you all, that you're comfortable with, and that you can communicate to these people that paid up. You see, my brother here, my sister, they paid a lot of money to come see you guys, right? So, something you're comfortable rather than hit, so that you can all have fun, So that's kind of my 2 cents.
So here's the question. What is a tune that all 4 of you can sing the melodies?
That's good.
Doesn't have to be a jazz tune.
Any tune.
A tune that you all can sing the melodies.
If you can sing it, you can play it.
A song that you all can sing the melodies. Because if you can sing it, it's here. La, 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 la. Yeah, any of those tunes, but the rule is you all have to be able to sing the melody. And I might even take it a step, I would take it a step further, but in professional settings, I try not to play songs I don't know the lyrics. I try not to, because it's taken away one level of interpretation. Right? But for now, we'll just stick with the melody. Right? So, what's
gonna try something out. Immediately, you guys sounded like much better. Do you guys agree? You immediately sounded like you enjoy playing music more, and that the song was one of your favorite songs, and you knew it. It's important to know songs, like, and convey that you know well. I want you to play melody stronger. I was gonna say that about one of the other students. You gotta play the melody stronger. It's important. We'll get back to that. I want you guys to do the same tune. This time, it's all about commitment. You have to commit to an idea. Strong and wrong. Commit to it. Believe in it.
Don't know it, sell it.
Sell it. Believe in it. Because if you don't believe it, then there's no chance I'm gonna believe
Always
it.
remember, a car salesman don't know what's under the hood.
Now, this is oh, go ahead.
I said, always remember, a car salesman don't know what's under the hood. They know the name of the car, and they know that when you done with them, you walking out there with that car. So your job is for everybody to leave here thinking that the way you play the melody is the melody. That's your job. All right?
And now, so I want you guys to play
I'm
this
gonna do it all
again.
night tonight. So.
I want you guys to play this again. But something I try and do when I play is every time I play the same tune, even if I gotta play it back to back, I try to do something different. That's the fun part of the music. So right now, when you guys play this tune, don't start in 2 again. You don't have to walk, you can do anything, but do not start in 2. This is where your creativity comes in.
And I have a request. For you. Whenever you guys start playing time, I just want you to play quarter notes. I just want to see something. And you see all the triplet stuff you were doing with your left hand? You can move that around the drums. You know what I mean? But I just want you, like you were saying, like that beat, I want you to focus in on it. Like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And it's concentrated. You understand what I mean? Like you're really focused on all 4 beats. So that's the only thing. Whenever you guys start walking, I just want to hear that. For you to see something.
All right, now do something completely different. You got it.
Uno.
Don't talk about it, just play.
Okay.
Something different. I applaud that. Something important to realize is music, we have form, right? Different sections of the form are important events. These are where important events happen. That's where your job as a drummer is to set that up and highlight important events. At the bridge, change. You don't have to keep doing the same thing. Like, build it, make it soft, do something different. Now I guys want you to play it again, and I want you to play more rhythmic.
And I want the piano to play the other section.
He wants you to play the melody on the bridge. You play the melody on the bridge. You got the A's, you got the bridge. Do something different. You got it.
you earlier, you can play something, but it has to be like the conviction behind it is very important. So let's try it. We'll take a crack at it. You know what I mean?
We're not gonna talk about it. Just play. You got that.
Anybody have questions?
Before we hear the last two,
Any
no question?
go?
Go for it.
Any question?
Concerts at 8:30 p.m. I think. 8:30 p.m.
I've got a question. Harvel, you've been talking about the quarter note. I'm a guitar player.
Sure.
How can I make stronger
How can you make it stronger?
my quarter note? I'm trying with the metronome, but
Okay.
I can feel it like
I
you just
think,
did.
like I was saying earlier, especially playing this music, 1 and 3 is a very big component of this music. So when you're able to feel 1 and 3, 2 and 4 kind of comes a lot easier. Now, when you're practicing with a metronome, me personally, I practice with all 4 beats, literally. And what I do is, he was saying he's not a triplet guy, and I understand, but the triplet helps. Working on that and shedding that works because, and also singing things that you play. If you can sing it, you can play it. You know what I'm saying? If you da ga da ga da ga da ga da ga da, like whatever's coming out, 9 times out of 10, that's what's gonna come out here. So it's understanding and having, like, what kind of music do you like, for example?
Yeah.
Aside from jazz,
Yeah. R&B.
R&B.
Yeah.
It's okay. So that's a great example. R&B and this music is dance music.
Yeah.
So feeling 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's the same thing as if you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the same motion. And that's the thing too. Where I'm from, we think I'm like kind of like a street musician, so everything has to dance and it starts in your waist. So in Haiti, if the music is not making your waist move and make you want to dance, well, that's when it gets kind of weird. So even if you're practicing and trying to get your beat stronger, dance it out. Literally like feel that rhythm. That way it could be more so like inside you versus you just like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you don't have to count. You just feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That answers the question?
Actually, it does.
I have an easier way to put all of that. 1, go out and dance.
Go out and dance?
2, I'll give you 2 records that you play along with. And if you play along with it till you are in sync with it, you're not gonna have any problem with quarter notes. 1, Count Basie, chairman of the board. Learn every note that Freddie Green plays. 2, Aretha Franklin, Amazing Grace. Learn every
Can you
single
repeat
note.
the last word?
Aretha Franklin, Amazing Grace. Hiram Bullock is
Okay.
playing guitar. Right? And the way that he plays time, locked in with Bernard Purdy and Chuck Rainey, that will give you everything you need to know. That's like study. That's for the study part. And then to just understand how a beat feels in your body, go out and dance. That will fix it all.
Will do. Thanks.
Aretha Franklin, Amazing Grace. It's a whole album. So I know now people just listen to songs, but like way back when people used to listen to like whole albums and talk about them. It's a foreign concept now, but if you can get through a whole album, like if you're on a flight or something, you listen to song to song and you hear how it scopes. Should we get them play this
I have
last
a
team?
question.
And then we'll get
Yeah, well, I'm starting with the trumpet. I play piano, but I wanna learn trumpet, and I would like to ask you for some advice for a beginner.
Advice on the trumpet?
Yeah.
Don't do it, not I would say that the best advice I'll give, are you now starting out on the trumpet, or you play already and you're trying to get more into it?
Well, I started like 2 years ago, but since I play the piano, I
Okay.
have like a lot of time for that. But I'm
So
trying.
I would say the best is to develop your sound. Like your sound is your calling card. If you listen to any great trumpet player, you know who it is within 3 seconds. Because that's because of the quality of their tone, like the complexity of the vibration that they put through the instrument. So I would say the best way to do that is a lot of long tones, just holding out the note and trying to get the fastest sound out of it. And you actually work on a lot of different things just by playing long tones. then I would say like articulation exercises and listening and singing as well, because singing teaches you how to open up your passage to play the upper register. Because like it's the exact same technique for vocals and trumpet. Hope that helps.
Yeah, I love
Good
it.
question.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, cool. Oh, last one. Mary.
Thank you. I saw that you changed a little bit the set of the drums.
I can't hear you, man.
She said she saw that you changed the setup of the drums a little
Yeah,
bit.
and I want to ask you what is like, what do I have to check at the moment that I am trying to play?
You play
better?
drums, right?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Well, better.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, a very basic level.
Once again, it kind of goes back to breathing for me, and like finding what's comfortable for you. Like he said, I didn't even notice that. He noticed it. He said, "Is the cymbal maybe too high for him?" And then instantly, when we brought the cymbal down, it did open up, and it was a lot more relaxed. So that's really up to you. If you like the cymbal to be here and it's comfortable here, it's cool. If you like it to be here, I personally think you shouldn't have to really move your arm that much. That way, everything is kind of there. But some of my teachers told me to like separate my drums. So have like my hi-hat a little further away from my ride cymbal, a little bit further from my snare. And a lot of the older drummers, like in the 70s and the 60s, they had that. But sometimes for me, I like everything close where I could just kind of go in and out of things, and it's just quick and fast. And that's just what works for me, honestly. So you just kind of have to, and that's where practice comes in too. You have to practice a lot and figure out what works for you. Because everyone's different.
Experience.
Yeah, just experiment.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone's different.
Okay.
But breathe and, the things that you have to, like, the drums are all about your wrists, and your fingers. So if you're using your arm, you want to use as less amount of force on your arm. That way you can get around the drums efficiently and not burn yourself out too. That way you can have, like, it could be equal. So, I hope. No problem.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you, gentlemen. Remember, moral of the story, lesson number one, always play what you know, what you're comfortable with, and the idea and notion of practicing is to expand that. So then we practice to hear more, to extend our hearing, and then we extend that. Number two, any music that has been birthed in the last 150 years, right, is very cultural based. And so then each note we play, each songs we learn is connected to a culture. Always make sure that you understand why your favorite players play the notes and vibe and genre, whatever they play, number two. And number three, for you all, the musicians, never forget about your own culture and how you can implement it into that. Thank you very much. I think Etienne want to add something.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Eugenio and the whole crew for putting this together, for bringing us in. Thank you all for playing. I want you all to give them a round of applause. To tap onto what Godwin was talking about with respect to culture, we're here in this country that has such a rich culture. And I strongly suggest one of the most important cultures in jazz is the culture of mentorship and the culture of learning just by being around people who will push you. And I'm a product of that. I moved to America when I was 19 years old. I didn't know a thing about jazz. I didn't know anything. And I just stood up and stood around the greatest musicians and just let them tell me what I needed to learn. And I let them beat me up on stage over and over again. Fell on my face over and over again, musically speaking, to grow. And I would say what you all need is that now. The next step is to go find people who will take you and pull you up. That's the next step, is to get people who will constantly push you on the bandstand, push you off the bandstand, telling you what records to check out, etc. We all could talk about our mentors, and we all have stories of when we were put in those situations. And I would say, because that's a part of the culture of this music that has kind of been lost due to academia, and with the music ending up in schools. So it's like you can't tell somebody really what they need to hear in a school setting. But on a bandstand or on a bus or in an airport after a gig or something, that's where those conversations are had. So I said the next step, because y'all can play. So the next step is to find the mentors that are gonna take you on the road, take you and put you on bandstands, because that's really where this music is learned. That's where this music is played. And then also, you find someone to go teach as well. Because the whole African proverb is each one teach one. So always know that what you know is something that someone else can learn. And what you know is the basis for you to learn more. And with that, I'd like to thank you all. Hope to see you all at the concert tonight. Unless you have a gig. If you have a gig, you're excused. If you don't have a gig, we expect to see you here. I'm marking your faces. We're gonna take attendance and every name there's gonna be a quiz off. No, just kidding. Thanks again, and see you all soon.
Etienne is looking for new mentees, so slide on this DM if you don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm looking to replace this whole burn. So.
Muchas gracias Etienne Charles, Godwin Louis, Harvel, Kajundi, Stephenson. Los esperamos esta noche. Recuerden que con la asistencia a esta clase tienen el 40% de descuento en el boleto del concierto de la noche. Los esperamos aquí. Queremos agradecer al Centro Cultural Roberto Cantoral y a Fundación BBVA por hacer esto posible. Así que esperemos verlos pronto. El próximo concierto, la próxima clase es el sábado 4 de diciembre con el trío de Jotan Silverstein, un gran guitarrista. Los esperamos también el sábado 4 de diciembre. Muchas gracias.